Hi everyone, I'm Hoodie Angel Brandon. Recently, Pokemon introduced a new game for the Switch and mobile devices called Pokémon Quest, and I thought we'd take a look at it, because it's free. I have literally nothing to lose, so let's get started. Pokémon Quest is a free-to-start game for Nintendo Switch and smartphone devices. It's a sort of action-adventure game featuring everyone's favorite Pokemon, assuming your favorite Pokemon are from Kanto. Anyway, that's about all I've got for background information. Let's dive into the actual review. In Pokemon Quest, you are an explorer coming to Tumblecube Island in search of a great treasure. That's really all you get to go off of. You don't have any real large grand plot or any backstory to this, you're just searching for a nondescript treasure. It's honestly pretty lame, even for like a mobile game. Frickin' Fire Emblem Heroes has more plot than this. As for characters, aside from the various Pokemon that you encounter, who you really don't actually interact with, your only companion is a drone developed by the Silph Co., Moby. And when I say companion, I say that very loosely. Moby has really no actual character or personality whatsoever. It's just kind of there to guide you through the tutorial and send you to the next location once you finish wrapping up an expedition. So in terms of story and characters, Pokemon Quest really doesn't have either. It's pretty unfortunate, but not unexpected. Next, let's move on to the way the game is presented. In terms of visuals, Pokemon Quest has a very blocky, cube-like design, which I'm not wild about, but I also don't hate. I really don't care one way or the other. I wouldn't say it looks great, it's just kind of there. It's certainly not bad, and I mean, it does make it kind of unique. It really reminds me of Legos or Minecraft, because obviously it's blocky. It also kind of reminds me of the Pokemon Rumble series, where the Pokemon had this toy-like appearance. Again, I don't really care one way or the other for this style, it's just alright. Everything looks fine enough, and you can make out what each Pokemon is supposed to be, what the terrain is supposed to resemble, and so on. But nothing really stands out either. In terms of audio, this game is again pretty lacking. I didn't find any of the music particularly noteworthy. I'd say the catchiest piece of music in the game was the overworld theme, but even then it certainly didn't stand out compared to just about any song from a main series Pokemon game, or even other Pokemon spin-off games like, say, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. In terms of presentation, I'd say this game is again quite lacking. It's a little bit stronger than the story and characters, but it's still not anything to write home about. In terms of the gameplay, this game revolves around you sending out Pokemon on expeditions to obtain either various Power Stones, which can be used to upgrade the strength of your Pokemon to handle tougher and tougher challenges, or to find ingredients which are used in cooking to attract new Pokemon to your camp, and thus give you more options in terms of building teams to send on expeditions. Rinse and repeat. To achieve your goal of finding the legendary Great Treasure, you recruit various Pokemon to go on expeditions around Tumblecube Island. On expeditions, your Pokemon will move on their own throughout the stage. They'll also automatically attack when you encounter the various waves of enemies, though each will have one or two special moves you can activate at any time, which include various effects, from a straight damage attack to buffing their attack and defense, or putting enemies to sleep. After using, there is a cooldown. The only other real way you can influence battles is by pressing a button that lets you have your Pokemon scatter, and likewise has a cooldown as well. It also inflicts a short cooldown on your Pokemon's moves. At the end of the stage, your team will fight a powerful boss Pokemon, which is where most of the game's difficulty comes from. Upon winning against them, as well as the weaker waves of enemies in the area, Your Pokemon will find various Power Stones to increase their HP and attack, as well as ingredients used in cooking for attracting new Pokemon allies to your base camp. In terms of controls, I already noted that you aren't actually controlling much. This game can be played with either touchscreen or the Joy-Con on the Switch. Having only played the Switch version, I found the controls rather unresponsive. Touch controls didn't work most of the time, and using the Joy-Con to navigate was very slow, at least compared to how fast you may need to react during a battle. Also, sometimes I would click to activate a move and nothing would happen at all. As for the actual battle system, it's been heavily simplified from the main games, where you have HP, attack, speed, special attack, defense, and special defense. Here you have HP and attack, and movement speed. The various stones you find and equip to your Pokemon will mostly just increase HP and attack, but can have bonus effects including increasing movement speed. The game also ramps up in difficulty pretty fast, requiring a lot of grinding of the same areas to farm stones to progress, which pads it out. It's not a very long game otherwise. Most of the game's length comes from the random drops on Power Stones. Using various ingredients you find, you can cook dishes at base camp to attract new Pokemon. The various ingredients can be combined in various ways to make certain Pokemon more likely, like making a soup that attracts poison types, or a dish that attracts bluish Pokemon, but gave me a Grimer instead, which is clearly purple. One of my biggest gripes with the game is that it only includes Pokemon from Kanto, in other words the first 150. If you're a fan of anything else, you're out of luck. Another huge complaint I have with this game is the level of randomness. There are layers upon layers of RNG here, more than a freaking gacha game. From getting the Pokemon you want, to what moves they know, what Power Stone slots they have available, and even the strength of the Power Stones you get as loot from expeditions. I spent hours worth of stamina grinding the highest level area I could, only to keep getting Power Stones that were far weaker than what I already had, making it a complete waste. This is so frustrating, especially with a stamina bar of 5. You get 1 stamina every 30 minutes, meaning it holds by default 2 hours and 30 minutes worth of stamina. And if you don't want it to go to waste, you need to check in constantly. It's a very needy game. This also means you'll be kinda just using what the game gives you. Never in my life would I have thought I'd play a Pokemon game where my strongest Pokemon was a Zubat, yet here we are. Leech Life, OP. I mentioned this game is free to start. You can download the game for free and actually complete it without spending a dime, which is what I did. But this game also has microtransactions, but I'd say nothing here is even close to worth the cost. You can pay to get Poke tickets, which can be used to refill the energy gauge, automatically finish cooking, collect loot if your Pokemon faint in mid-adventure, increase the size of your stone and Pokemon storage, and buy various decorations with small bonus effects for your camp. None of these are particularly strong effects, and you get a good number of tickets just for playing, so I wouldn't bother paying for them. For an example of how useless these tickets are, to refill the stamina bar, it costs 25 tickets. 25 premium currency for 5 stamina? That's insane! For a comparison, Fire Emblem Heroes has a 1 orb to 99 stamina conversion. Not that you ever would, since it's a massive waste and they give out stamina potions like candy, but it just goes to show how much this game thinks its tickets are worth. Anyway, you can already guess my general thoughts on this game, but let's wrap things up. Pokémon Quest has a lot of problems. The story and characters are practically non-existent, the music and graphics are there, I guess, but don't really stand out, keep on microtransactions and a ton of RNG, and I just didn't really enjoy it, which as a Pokemon fan, it kinda hurts to say. Finally, the ending is pretty dang anticlimactic. You can keep playing after finishing the main story, but there wasn't anything in the main game that was particularly great, so I'm really not interested in playing more. The biggest draw to this game is that it's free, but I definitely wouldn't spend money on the in-game purchases, and honestly, I'll probably just delete it off my Switch. I don't think it's even worth the small amount of space it takes up. I know it sounds harsh, but I just don't see much great about this game. I was hoping for something like a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Light, and this just doesn't live up. I will say it's not the worst Pokemon game I've played, but it's a far, far cry from being the best. So that's Pokemon Quest. Again, it's not absolutely terrible, but I really didn't enjoy it, which is unfortunate because I had decently high hopes for it. What did you guys think? Did you maybe enjoy it? Let me know in the comments down below, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this is Hoodie Angel Brennan, signing out.